With the big crescendo, that is Lizzie Borden with Master of Disguise. Big production there.
Yeah.
So you said John is going to call in?
I'm texting him right. Tell him to call. He was listening to our segment about the kids. He told me about something that happened with him tonight, and I'm ready to throw my fucking phone.
I think maybe you better just learn how never having to leave the house, whether it's somebody having to, if you need to, have somebody, fill your car up with gas periodically if you have to leave the house.
Yeah.
And always use DoorDash and just never leave the house. Amazon. I gotta tell you, dude, I love that Amazon.
I love it too.
I needed a thermostat for my house. I woke up one morning and my thermostat was just acting fucky.
Right.
And it was like I woke up it was like 2:30 in the morning.
Right.
And I noticed it was kind of cold out. The house felt a little cold. And even though my thermostat was set like at 67, it was like 61 in the house. And I had to fuck around with the thermostat, and I finally got it to work right and this and that. So I thought, I guess it's time for a new thermostat.
Right.
So I went on Amazon, ordered it at like 2:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And it was there the next day.
Yeah, I love it. I put a new heater here in the office this week. Ordered it one day, got it the next. Set it right up, all good. Perfect.
I'm so spoiled.
Yep.
All right. Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's John. How's it going?
It's going, John. Isn't that the greatest thing? You can be driving in your car and listen to us just like terrestrial radio.
Dude, it's awesome. Anytime I've got a gig down here in the Lima area, man, and when I'm driving home, I've got the show on.
Does anybody have any money in Lima?
Well, we played a wedding tonight for $2,700, and I negotiated an extra $400 for us to play 6 extra tunes.
Really? $400 for 6 songs, huh?
Nice.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, we were it was supposed to end at 11. And the dude comes up to me a few songs before. He's like, "What'll it cost us to get you to play a little bit longer?" And I said, "Well, we can go till 11:40, and it'll be $400, $100 a guy." And he just pulls $400 out of his pocket. I was like, "All right, there you go."
$75 a tune. Yeah. Even Chris wouldn't pay that at a jukebox.
No, not at all.
Right? Yeah, no, it's cool, man. This is the second time we've played a wedding at this place, and the other time, the father of the bride did the same thing. Like, how much would it cost me for you guys not to take a break? I was like, $500. And he just pulled out $500. I'm like, I like this town.
Wow, I'm surprised. I mean, I lived in Lima for 2 years. I married a whore in Lima. I went there for the Loud in Lima. I don't have a lot of great experiences in Lima, but I'm surprised that anybody has any money there.
Yeah, this was actually in Rushi, so I think it's about an hour from Lima, but apparently these people, some of them have money. I don't know. It's really weird. And these weddings, man, it's like half the women are like hotter than holy hell, man. They're very lucrative, and there's a lot of scenery, so it's actually not a bad way to spend a Saturday night.
All right. Well, tell me where that little town is, and maybe next time I cruise on my way to Ohio, maybe I could check out some of the hotties.
It's pretty good, man.
It's pretty good.
I'll have to bring it. I'll bring you as my +1 next time we get booked at a wedding there. So, no, I wanted to call in real quick. You guys were talking about the kid thing, and I actually had a couple quick stories about it. But you're talking about the autism thing. I have a friend. It's actually Chris knows her too. They're definitely not friends. But
no, I hate her.
Yeah,
she hates me. Yeah. I hate her. It's equal.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is this? Is this Rover? Is this Rover in the morning?
Yeah.
I have a friend.
Well be.
No, this is an actual person, not a makeup thing.
I have this friend.
Yeah, no, this is real. I just don't want to give names, but she has an autistic son, and her older sister is a very good friend of mine. Her older sister's married to my best friend and whatnot.
Is she hot?
And, sisters have
big tits.
Well, yeah, she's not bad looking, dude.
Yeah,
I fucked her.
Really?
You know, yeah, this was years ago.
Did you motorboat her?
Before I met Steph.
Did you motorboat her?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
She's got big old tits.
her
That's her lone selling point.
And John went, "Oh yeah," and she said, "Love me, love me, love me."
All right.
All right.
Nice. But yeah, the sisters haven't talked in well over a year because the younger one brought her kid over for a birthday party, and she doesn't watch her son at all. So the kid is running around in circles in the house and spitting on people, and the sister finally busts the kid, and the other sister gets all mad. Well, why are you yelling at my son? It's like, well, because he's running around spitting on people, and the younger sister hasn't spoken because she's not giving concessions to my son because he's different. And we're all like, who the fuck cares? He's spitting on people, for Christ's sakes. That's disgusting. But she expects, special treatment because he's autistic. It's like, okay, I get it. He's a little different. But you can't just let him do whatever the fuck he wants to do. So, there was that. But no, we actually had an incident at the wedding tonight relating to a kid. And
wait, hold on, John. Hold on, John.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear this, Neely.
Okay.
John was texting it to me, and I was squeezing my phone because I was getting more and more annoyed with every word that he texted over to me. Fucking, this lady deserves more death than the Arby's lady. Go ahead, John. Tell your tale.
Okay. So when we do weddings, like it's not just like there's a DJ and everything. Like we are the DJ, and I do all the DJing and the MCing, and then we do a full show and all that stuff. So it's like an all-inclusive type of package. So, so while I'm doing all the MCing and all this other crap, introducing people, dances, all that, there's this little kid, he's probably like 2 or 3, and he keeps running up on our stage and jumping on things, and the dad is just sitting there watching him do it, and I'm like, God damn it, there's like, 15, 20 grand worth of shit up there. And, I don't say anything. I keep an eye on the kid because, we're getting paid a lot of money. You don't want to be unprofessional and piss somebody off. And so, I mean, this happens a good 5 or 6 times, and finally we're sitting down eating. And I look over at the stage. This kid gets up there, and he goes over to my guitar player's amp, which they have those I forget what they're called, but it's a Kemper, so it's basically like a modifier. It's almost like a computer, and the thing's like $2,800. And this kid reaches for the amp and starts trying to fuck with the buttons, and I go, oh, and the dad turns on me immediately and goes, please don't raise your voice at my son. And I'm like, fuck you. And I said, yeah. I told him, I said, sir, I'm not trying to be rude here, but what he's touching is worth $2,800, and if he starts messing with buttons and settings, it screws up our whole performance, and we're the entertainment. And he says, I don't care what it's worth, that doesn't give you the right to raise your voice to my child.
So did you pull his helmet off and start beating him in the head with it?
If I had one, I probably would have.
How did you not yell him down at that exact moment? How did you not say, grab your fucking kid and go have a seat, Dickie?
Again, because you have to be professional, because you don't know if you're sometimes you don't even know who's writing the check. So I didn't want to piss this guy off and then not get our $3 grand. It's like, so you don't want to get a bad rap. You just got to say it politely, but the guy wouldn't let it go. It's like, like we're supposed to let his fucking kid just go up there and do whatever the hell he wants and touch what. It's like, no, go fuck yourself. Parent your goddamn child.
Now, John, let me ask you a question. As a traveling performing act and whatnot, do you have actual contracts that you sign, or is everything you do verbal?
No, we have a contract for every single show we do.
Okay.
Except for bar gigs.
All right. Well, in your contract, in your terms and services, Write in there if patrons' children cause damage to equipment that the person who hired you is 100% responsible for any damages.
Oh, but that might hurt somebody's feelings.
Well, it
really.
doesn't matter. I'd put it right in the contract. It's like Van Halen and their brown M&Ms. You put it in there.
All I know is it's a good thing you didn't put up a sign that said to police your children. Otherwise, that would have been a real problem tonight, John.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I mean, kids getting up on stage happens more often than you would think. I mean, people really. A couple of years ago, I almost injured myself really badly one night because we were doing a festival and it was an earlier performance. Like usually we're like 8 or 9 o'clock, but this one was like, I think it was like a 5 o'clock. So we were finishing at like 8 or 9, and these people were just letting their kids up on stage. And I went to do like a jump off of the drum riser, and this little kid was like right in my landing area, and my fat ass would have just creamed this little bastard. So I had to alter the way I landed so as not to crush this kid, and I damn near blew my knee out. I mean, it fucking sucked.
Well, who do you think you are, like, David Lee Roth?
David Lee Girth. Fucking no.
So do you take the South Park method and go kick the baby?
Man, I've really wanted to so many times. I mean, it's amazing what people think they can get away with a band. Like people just hammered and waving open beers and cups of booze over the pedal boards and trying to come up on stage and play drums and touching things, grabbing things. Like, they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, what a bunch of assholes. I would never do such a thing.
Yeah, that's why I don't go to weddings.
No, I mean, Neeley, you've been around bands. You guys both been around bands long enough to know that, like, the average person just doesn't seem to give a shit or even know that, the equipment is worth so much goddamn money.
Well, it's not that. It's just that people just don't know how to act in general.
Yeah? I mean, thankfully tonight everyone was really well behaved, which was good. It was, people had fun. But, I mean, we got booked at this wedding because of a couple we played for 2 years ago. And it was kind of funny because that wedding, people were a little more out of control, and there was like a good quarter inch of beer across the entire fucking floor at the end of that gig. And tonight the floor is completely dry. So I'm like, all right, well,
you won't be going home with sticky shoes.
No. No, thank God.
Stephanie won't have her work cut out for her tomorrow to clean up your mess.
Steph's in Florida. She's not home right now, so I can go home and get fucked up for a few hours and then go to sleep and then sleep it off tomorrow and pick her up at the airport. So
while you're at home getting fucked up, she's in Florida getting fucked.
Oh, language.
Maybe she is. Who knows? What happens in Florida stays in Florida.
Yeah, well, send her to Illinois, and whatever happens in Illinois stays in Illinois.
I'll send her your way, man. All right, well, my manager's calling, so I'm going to jump out of here. Fuck you, pal. Hands up!
Don't raise your voice to my child.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, why don't you take your little hell spawn off the stage? Get him away from my equipment, you weak-ass fucker.
And I know we're joking about it a little bit, but I've seen John. I've seen John play gigs before, and I've seen how he deals with idiots, that are being idiots. And I promise you, I obviously wasn't there tonight, but I promise you, he wasn't like, "Hey, you little fuck!" I promise you that's not how it was.
Yeah, he was probably going, "Hey.
Oh, hold up now, don't." Yeah, politely telling this kid to fucking back.
Well, I'll tip my hat to John that he's got a lot of my philosophy and how you conduct yourself, even though there's something that's going on that you don't necessarily agree with, but he has the ability to think things through, be rational, and go, I don't know who's signing the check. I'm not going to rock the boat too hard because I'm not going to walk out of here without my money. Yeah. Chris Aiken would go, fuck that. I'm going to fuck everybody up here. I don't care if I get my check or not.
Chris Aiken would have beat this guy's ass.
Of course you would, but then you'd walk away without your $3,000 and go, fuck that guy.
Wouldn't care. Wouldn't care. You're not going to disrespect me. Fuck you. I don't care about that.
There you go. But see, that's you gotta have a little bit of decorum, whether you are in a situation that you agree with or not. That doesn't mean they're right or anything. It's just like, I'm here doing a gig and I expect to be paid, and I'm not going to ruffle any feathers and blow my gig here.
I would have beat that guy's ass, then I would have paid my band guys.
Right.
There's no chance. You're 100% right. There's no chance I would have been polite about it.
No, of course not.
I would have absolutely been like, you know what? Grab your fucking kid and get away from the fucking stage. And if he didn't, I'd move him. I'd move him. I'd move his fucking kid. Would not think twice about it. Wouldn't care about the money. The money would be less important to me than fucking being disrespected. There's no amount of money worth taking disrespect. To me, there's just not. Fuck that. Couldn't do it. And I know that's why I'll never be a millionaire, because I could never get shit on enough to get fucking money. It's the truth. I mean, dude, you've heard those stories from me, about jobs when somebody tries to disrespect me. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Take your fucking money. Dude, I worked with this one. I was building a website for this one psychologist.
Yeah.
And I know you remember this because I bitched up a storm about this bitch. And I did months of work with her. Months, because she was a fucking pain in the ass cunt. And I hated her goddamn guts. I hated her fucking guts. I tried. Finally, I just got to where I couldn't fucking stand her anymore. And I gave her money back and the work I did. I was like, here, take the fucking work I did, take your fucking money, and fuck you. Go away. Don't come back. And I did, and I just ate it. I didn't care. And believe me, you want to talk about a fight with the wife? Me ripping off a $5,000 check after I had worked on something for 2 months? Oh, she wasn't happy, and I didn't care. I was not going to be disrespected by this bitch. I was like, there's more money to make. I'll make it somewhere else. Fuck you. Fuck your stupid website. Fuck your stupid flowers that you want on your website. I hope they fucking give you cancer. Just die. No way I could take that kind of disrespect. Can't do it.
Cunt!
Exactly. Exactly. Well, you know what, dude? I mean, this is... You're bringing this up, but this is a reason that I struggled so hard for all the years that I worked in corporate America. Dude, I was constantly on like probation. I think every job I worked, I ended up on probation on because I was always like, fuck you. When I worked at Eaton Corporation, that was probably my favorite job of all the jobs that I've worked, as far as liking the people, and I liked the job, and I was really good at the job. I was doing help desk, and I was clearing like 65 calls a day. It was a help desk, a tech help desk. Call in, my password doesn't work. How do you log into this? How do you fix that? That type of a job. I was clearing like 65 calls a day. This other guy, Doug, he was clearing 10 calls a day. And they put him in charge of me. Oh, and then he tried to fucking flaunt that shit on me. I ended up punching him in his fucking face. He fucking was like, you're going to do what I say. And I fucking belted him right in his fucking face. Bang! Needless to say, I didn't last more than another hour.
Fuck you, pal!
Yeah, fuck you, pal is right. Damn right. Dude, I can't do it. I can't be that fake. I can't be like, well, maybe with a discussion we can work this out. No. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Like it or don't. Fuck off.
Well, sometimes you have to just bite it.
No, not me.
I know that's not you, but sometimes you'll be further ahead.
True. I would be further ahead now. Dude, without getting into what my brother does and whatnot, he makes a shit ton of money. I mean, he makes a lot more than I do. And I do pretty good. But he makes a lot more than I do. And I watch how he has to work. I mean, I don't know exactly what he makes, but I know what he does, and we have similar, not exactly the same, but we have similar technical knowledge. Okay? I watch what he does, and there is just no way I could do it for a million reasons, but the main one is the amount of shit that he has to eat, but from staff and from customers and from potential buyers of this and that he makes and that he sells. And I'm just like, I've said it to him 100 times. I'm like, I don't know how you fucking do it. And he's like, what? I'm like, how can you be so much smarter than these people but take their shit? And he's like, dude, that's how I make my fucking money.
Yeah,
Like,
I might be smarter. I'll take their shit, but I'll also take their money.
Yeah, I get it. But you know what? But maybe if I had more appreciation for money value, if I appreciated money more, I probably would care a little more about it. But I mean, dude, you've been around me for 20 fucking years. Have you ever known me to be money guy?
No, not at all.
I'm like, whatever, it's whatever the bill is. Hey, give it to me. I don't care whether it's $100 or $700 or $7,000. I don't give a shit. Even in the old days with my cars, I would just buy cars and then I'd leave them on the side of the road because I didn't have any concept of, well, I better take care of this thing because it costs $3,000 plus X amount of money. It was just like, fuck it, throw it away, get another one. Who cares? It never meant anything to me. And I think that's why I've always had problems in the corporate world, because I cannot adjust to it the way like you can. You're a master at it, because not only can you adjust to it, but you have such a interestingly powerful presence in the business world that people are afraid to give you that fucking shit.
Well, I'll tell you the reason why.
All right.
It's not an emotional thing with me.
True.
I will not allow my emotions to get involved.
True.
It's dollars and cents. It's just business.
Right.
It's not personal. It's not anything that affects my emotion. It's just facts. It's facts and figures, and that's it.
Right. And I'm the polar opposite. I live 1,000% on emotion. 1,000%. I'm very emotional, and I definitely am reactive when it comes to emotion. I can't be like, oh, well, I'm going to shut my fucking mouth so I can make $5,000 or whatever.
Well, my former brother-in-law, who passed away back in March.
Yeah.
I was in business with him for about 7 years. Mm-hmm. And we would conduct meetings with potential clients on various things.
Sure.
And he would always tell me to lead the meeting because I could take the emotion out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was an emotional guy.
Right.
And, it was all about the feelings and this and that. And me, it was just like, fuck you. This is how much it costs. This is what we're putting in. This is what the end result, or this is what the yield was going to be. And are you in or are you out?
Right.
And that's it. And it's like, well, if you have a family and you got a kid and you got a wife, it's like, fuck that. Here's what the dollars are. This is what is being expended. This is what the yield's going to be. Where do you stand?
Right. And I remember when you were working that job, and the one time that your brother-in-law put himself out in front of it was that deal that you were working in California, where you were constantly going back and forth to California.
Yeah. And
it fell apart.
It did.
And it fell apart after all the schmooze meant nothing. Buying what? Indy 500 tickets.
No, not tickets, but a suite.
Yeah, a suite at the Indy 500.
2 years in a row.
You bought all that shit. You guys spent what, $500,000?
Half a million dollars. Yep, $500,000.
$500,000 schmoozing that guy, and the deal still went to shit.
Yep.
Because it was all based on trying to make him feel good instead of just saying, here's the fucking numbers, deal with it.
That's it.
I remember that crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you were pissed off because it should have gone the other way.
I agree.
I remember you being very specific. Why the fuck am I sitting out here watching these cars drive around?
I had zero interest in that. It's like, I don't care what this guy wants.
Yeah.
This guy's in Chapter 11. He's $18 million in debt. We're bringing this much to the table, and he wants a suite at the Indy 500 to make the deal? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck him. He can either go into full bankruptcy and lose it all or take our offer.
And he ended up losing it all anyway.
Of course he did.
And we ended up losing it too. So,
yeah, it pretty much ended that business, didn't it?
Well, it ended the business, and it kind of put a divide between myself and my former brother-in-law because I refused to go to the Indy.
Right.
He was just like, "So I'll see you there. I'll see you there on Sunday." I said, "No, you won't. I'm not going."
Yeah, I'm not
What
going
do
to
you mean you're not going? I said, "I'm not going." I said, I disagree with how this went. I'm not going.
Right.
And that was the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember it was a big problem.
It was a problem. But I stood my ground, and it's just like, I'm not mad about this. I'm just telling you that I disagree, and I'm not going to support it. Period.
I remember, and you were mad about having to go out all those times to fucking California for no real reason.
Yeah, I was going out to California. Not that I didn't enjoy California, but I was out there for 3 and 4 weeks at a time. I was doing the show from there. I was doing it from my hotel room.
Yep, I remember. Yeah, it was a big. We always talk. We never really talk about that time period, and I know why. But that was a stressful time for you as well. It not as stressful as the Indians, but that was a pretty stressful time. A different kind of stress.
Well, it was a stressful time only because I was expected to turn this thing around.
Right.
And I couldn't turn it around because I wasn't getting the support that I needed to make that happen.
Right. Right. They wanted you to fix it, but also play by the rules that broke it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember, dude. That was some tough. That was the years I was off the show, wasn't it?
It was partially during that time. Yeah.
I was off the show, but which meant you were trying to pull the fucking show along by yourself. You and Irish Richards emails and Mark Nero.
So yeah, it was a tough time, but the thing is, again, I never allow my emotions to get involved with business. It's just business. It's dollars and cents. It's facts and figures.
Yeah,
and it's not personal. It doesn't affect me personally. It's either you do the deal or you don't.
See, I wish I could be like that, but I can't, and I'll tell you why I can't. Because I don't even separate the emotion from the work that I do. I'm very much emotionally attached to my own work. When I'm doing a job, I mean, dude, I would love to be able to lowball somebody, take a web job, and just fucking throw some bullshit together. Just slap it together and not care. And I can't do it.
Well, not putting emotion into it doesn't mean you don't care. It's just that you're not going to allow it to upset your day-to-day way of living.
See, I can't do it. I get very frustrated sometimes when I'm doing. Sometimes I'll be working on something and I can't get it to look just the way I want it to look, and it'll be something so minor that I know I'll sit there and tell myself, just fucking let it go because no one will see it. Little tiny shit like that. I will see that kind of shit. And I will spend 8, 9, 10 hours trying to fix a fucking cube that's 1/1 millionth of my screen. just because I can't let it go. I can't just say it doesn't matter.
Well, but you're detail oriented and a perfectionist.
I am.
But the thing is there's a point where you have to, get to acceptance. It's just like, you know what? I did my best. I'm convinced that there's really no solution to this. Mm-hmm. And I just need to live with it and just accept it. But when you can't get to the point of acceptance, that's when you start beating yourself up, and you get emotional, and you get upset. And I'll tell a quick story. And this one always, even to this day, it makes me laugh.
Okay.
When I got out of college, one of my first jobs when I was 21 years old, I was married. I was working as a mechanic at a small truck shop out in Wadsworth, out where John lives. It's not really far from where John lives right now.
Okay.
And it was a 24-hour road service, and it was a diesel. It was a truck shop, is what it was, and I was turning wrenches as a young apprentice mechanic.
Okay.
Because I thought that's where I was going to go in life. And, what do you know at 20 or 21 years old? That's what you think is going to happen. But obviously I've branched off into many other things since then. But I worked, the owner of the shop, his name was Harold. And this guy, I admired this guy because he was intelligent. He was smart. He had a good sense of humor. And he seemed to have a pretty good grasp on life in general.
Okay.
And working with this guy, he was pretty fair with me. He gave me a shot. I knew nothing. I was right out of school. I mean, I could turn wrenches. I had tools and things, but I wasn't an expert at anything.
Right.
So he brought me on, and I learned a lot during the time that I worked there.
Okay.
Well, talking about the emotion in your job. So we used to service a company in Richfield. It was a trucking company up there. And it was in the middle of winter. It was like January. It was cold as fuck. And during the winter, if you're not familiar, but vehicles have a tendency to get all fucky during the cold winter time. They won't start, or they won't run properly, or tires go flat, or whatever it is.
Right.
So he and I were at this trucking company up in Richfield, which was a big trucking hub back in the day, back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And they had what they called a yard tractor. It was a specially made vehicle that pulled trailers out of the dock and whatnot. It's specifically designed just to run the yard. It's a yard truck. They called it a yard horse. Okay. And the alternator was acting up. And we got pulled out there in the middle of the night. It was, I don't know, it's like 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday or something. And we're out there, and he was trying to tighten up the alternator on this yard tractor because it had no power, no lights and stuff. And he broke the little adjustment ear off the alternator, broke it off.
Okay.
And it was just like, well, it's 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday. Where are we going to get another alternator? It's like, it's not going to happen. So he decides he's going to take some of that, they called it liquid steel. I don't know if you ever seen it. It comes in a tube.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. So he decides, well, I'm going to fix this with some liquid steel. I'm going to basically glue the ear on this alternator.
Right.
And so we had a little service truck out there and stuff, and he's like mixing up this like Bondo shit, this liquid steel stuff, and he's going to try to fix this alternator. And I was looking at him, and he's like working feverishly at this, and I said, that's never going to work. Right. And he goes, and he's like, ye of little faith.
Right.
And I said, that's never going to work, Harold. I'm sorry. And he goes, why don't you go over there and put those snow chains on that truck over there? So I'm laying on the floor. I'm putting snow chains on this plow truck that they plowed the driveway with. And he gets this alternator out. He thinks that the liquid steel is cured on this little alternator ear, and he's trying to tighten the alternator and tighten up the belt. And hopefully this liquid steel shit is gonna
Right.
it's gonna hold. And I'm laying under this truck, and all of a sudden I hear this guy yell out, "Kiss my ass!" And this wrench comes flying across the little shop that we working in and just bounced off the wall. He just whipped this wrench across the shop because that ear broke off on that alternator again. And this guy was just in the most foul mood.
Yeah.
The rest of the evening. And it was just like, this is control. And this is what the point I'm getting to is that in my early years of business, this taught me a lesson, and I remember this to the day, even though this was 34 years ago.
Right.
I remember this to this day, how upset and emotional he got about this.
Sure.
And I looked at this thing and I evaluated and I go, that's not going to work. And it would not have upset me if I was in his position and this thing broke off again.
Right.
Because it was just like, why am I going to get upset about this? This is just a lost cause. You know,
Right.
why am I going to get myself upset about this? I could sit there and wish and hope the best, but I expect the worst.
I'm with Harold. I'd have been throwing shit and kicking it.
But I will never forget that wrench come flying across that shop and hitting the wall and bing, 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 kiss my ass.
Have you ever thrown anything out of anger?
No, I've never done that.
Ever?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, because I'm not that emotional. I'm not an emotional person. I just accept things for what they are.
You've never, even with chicks, when
Nah.
they're acting like cunts, throwing
No.
a towel at them or something?
Nope. The only time that I ever reacted emotionally is when my ex-wife grabbed me and ripped her nails into my chest, and that was only out of the fact that she was tearing into my skin.
Jesus Christ.
Because I don't lose my head. I just don't lose my head over stuff.
If I could tell you how many baseball bats I've thrown from striking out in games or fucking golf clubs I've pitched for fucking a bad shot on the golf course or pens dude, I still have it. It's sitting over there on the other desk. I have this foam brick that my dad bought me for Christmas one year because they were always afraid that I was going to throw whatever was in my hand through the TV during Browns games. They were always afraid I was going to put back when I had no money, when I couldn't afford to replace a TV.
Right.
They were always afraid I was going to put a remote or something through the television or a bowl for chips or something. They were always afraid I was going to do that. So they bought me this, it's called a Brown's brick.
Okay.
And it looks like a brick, but it's made of foam, so you can throw it at a television without breaking the television. And I'm gonna be honest, back in those days, I took that to its upteenth level, because then I got even more aggressive and was throwing this fucking brick at the TV 5 or 6 times a game, trying to break the TV, because I was like, you can't fucking tell me that I can't crack this screen with this foam brick. And the Browns would always make me so fucking pissed off that I was always throwing this fucking brick. So, yeah, I've constantly. I don't really anymore. I will say that pretty much since I got myself to not being as pissed off as I used to be, since the old Angry Aiken days left, I really don't get as mad. I mean, I'm still emotional here and there, but not like I used to be. I'll give you a great example. The most current book, the Other Things book, John edited it for me. And I mean, no lie, probably 1,000 to 1,500 edits. And a lot of it was punctuation and spelling shit.
Okay.
because I really didn't go back and read it. You know, that's not how I work anyway with the books. Is I just write them and then I ask somebody else to go through it, and they make suggestions, and I take 98% of them. Now, in the old days, the old Chris, I would have got back one chapter of that, and I would have fucking been screaming and hollering and kicking, and I probably would have called John and said, you know what, don't edit the rest of the fucking book. I'm just not putting it out.
Yeah.
F this shit. But this time I was like, okay, here's the changes. Accept, change, accept. I'll deny this one, accept. You know, and I just went through and accepted it. And, you know, it's a lot of changes, man. It's a lot of punctuation, a lot of shit where, you know, I had asked John, I was like, hey, if something doesn't make sense, tell me. And he did. There were certain sentences that didn't read the way I thought them in my head or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a different mindset. In the old days, I would probably, him and I would have gone back and forth over every fucking change that he offered. And I would have fought over every change. I mean, no, this is what I mean. That's what I said. You know, I'd have been argumentative. I'm just not there anymore. I'm not that obsessed like I used to be.
Well, but to what end?
Well, dude, I could see me never ending. I look at the old books even, and I still, if I look at them now, I'm like, oh, I hate this, I hate that, I don't like this. You know, I'm like a musician. I don't like anything that I do. But, you know, you're right. Maybe it's getting older, maybe it's getting wiser, but I do think it's being a lot more patient and a lot less emotional toward the project. That, you know, now it's easier to just kind of let go and say, okay, you know, this. In the old days, I would have taken John's criticism and been like, this motherfucker's trying to say he's smarter than me.
See,
fuck you.
But see what the whole thing is that you somehow look at it as a personal slight.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not.
And it's not. No, not only is it not, but I've asked for the help. But I'm telling you, that's just how I'm wired. Is I'll ask for the help, and then I get mad at myself for needing the help. You know, it's dumb. I know it's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to justify it. I know it's dumb, but it's just one of those things that I can't fully let go of. I think I'm better at it than I've ever been in my life. But yeah, I mean, dude, even this fucking porn website that I'm working on, it's driving me crazy because and not because it's porn, but because I'm not satisfied with the way it completely works yet. You know, it's not working. I have a vision of how I want everything to work. It's not working that way, and I'm still fighting through it to make it work the way I want it. You know, and I'm very emotionally attached to it. And why am I emotionally attached to 500 fucking dildos? I should have no attachment to this thing other than doing a respectable job.
Well, again, you know, your signature, you know, mm-hmm. digital signature is on the final product, and that's, you know, it's personal pride, and it's just like, yeah, I want it to be right, and I want it to be the best it can be, and I don't want any mistakes, and I want just perfection. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the thing is you can't beat yourself up over it at the same time.
And I do.
And it's just like I've done the best I can do. I'm confident in my own mind that I've done the level best that I could possibly do. I didn't slough off on the job. I didn't take any shortcuts. I didn't, do something I knew should have been done, but I just didn't do it because. It's like, this is the best I can do. Let me know what you think.
I don't have that in me. I have it in, how could I have fucked up? How could I not have checked it better?
Yeah.
How could I have, dude, today, literally today, I was working, you know how we always have at Pinball PA, we have the annual New Year's Eve party.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to put together, a web page for it so people can pay for it and they can buy their options that they want, blah, blah, blah. So as I was working on it today, I came across one of the 10,000 links that I have on this website that was a broken link. And it fucking wrecked my afternoon. I literally was like, how long has this been fucked up? I literally left something in my business that I care about be fucked up for probably months. And nobody ever noticed it, but I caught it. You know, it would be one thing if somebody hit me back and said, hey, this is fucked up. Then I'd really be upset. But even today, just finding it myself, I was like, what in the fuck? Why didn't you check this? That was my first thought, was why didn't I fucking check this and make it right? You know, how could I let that be out there wrong? That's how I think. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing, because I just can't accept mediocrity. You know, I think that's what keeps me driving forward at 200 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. Is because I am super hyper focused on that kind of shit. But
yep.
Who knows? I don't know. That's why we're different people, I guess. That's why this show works, because we're so fucking different.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is that I'm a firm believer that stress really, really ages you. And I will not allow stress to just dominate my life. It's just like, yeah, okay, this happened. All right, I fixed it, or whatever the case may be. All right, it's done. Move on.
Well, I mean, you know me really well. Do I seem like a stressy guy?
I do. I think you are. I mean, anytime you get that blood pressure raised and you're upset about stuff, that's stress.
Yeah, but I just like to spout off, and then it's out of my system. I do think that, though, that is a big difference between the old days and now. Is now I just spout it off, and I'm done with it. You know, you remember, dude, in the old days, nobody knew what was coming. You didn't know if I was going to fucking be friendly or fucking punch you. You know, I just was so angry, and now I'm just not. I mean, yeah, you read these stories, and it just, you know, the patheticness of society is raging to me, but I mean, I don't think day to day I'm that stressed. Maybe I am. Maybe I just don't realize it. I don't know.
Well, I think the more that you stay off of Facebook and stay away from, you know, people that really get under your skin, the better off you are.
Yeah, I do think I'm on Facebook a hell of a lot less than I used to be, and it really has helped.
Yep.
It really, I don't miss it. I do not, you know, I kind of treat Facebook and Twitter and that kind of shit now the same way I treat a school shooting. If there's a school shooting, then I go to Facebook or Twitter to see what everybody's doing and see if there's any good memes out of it. But you know, day to day, to see that somebody fucking, you know, doesn't like the hearings in Washington or the whatever the fuck's going on, their lunch, their Taco Tuesday wasn't good or something. Who gives a fuck?
That's how I feel about it.
Couldn't care less anymore. I just don't. I couldn't give two fucks about Facebook.
I never did.
Right. And on that note, I think we're done.
All right. Well, it's been a good show. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in. It went by very quick. I know we say it all the time, but boy, this show here, I can't believe it's over.
I loved the 70s segment.
That was fun. It was fun.
And we gotta hone that. We gotta get Wheezy to give us a bumper, and I think we have to do that again. Don't you think?
There's a lot of innuendo songs out there that passed by the censors that talked about a lot of savory shit.
Yeah.
No wonder my parents warned me against this secular music.
Yeah, but you didn't listen now, did you?
It's all inspired by the devil for sure.
Yeah. Satan and Alan O'Day.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to be doing that all week.
All right.
She
said, fuck me.
So brutal.
All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. I'm going to close with a classic rock song, not a metal song, but I think this is very appropriate for you and everybody who is always fighting.
All right.
I'm going to leave you with some Mellencamp with some Authority song.
There you go. I fight authority, but authority, it always wins.
It does. All right, we're going to get out of here. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in. We'll be back next Saturday night. So from This is Neeley, along with my very good friend
Chris Hagan.
and we're gone.
All right.